welcome everyone to this momentous occasion as we gather here to celebrate a significant milestone for our community. I'm honored to stand before you today as we mark this allocation of the $3 million in congressional directed spending for the Kings Highway Bridge design project. The funding represents more than just a financial investment. It signifies a commitment to safety, infrastructure, and the future of our city and region. The Kings Highway Bridge is not merely a structure of concrete and steel. It's a lifeline that connects neighborhoods, facilities of commerce, and ensures the smooth flow of daily traffic for countless residents and businesses. Today's celebration is a testament to the hard work and dedication of many individuals and organizations who have tirelessly advocated for this critical project. It underscores what we can achieve when we come together with a shared vision and a progress for prosperity. So before we get started, I want to thank a few of those individuals in the room today. Of course, Senator Mark Warner, Chris Hall, Hampton Roads District Engineer with VDOT. And I'm going to run through this list really quick, so let's do the applause at the very end. But we've got Suffolk Mayor Mike Duman, Vice Mayor Lou Ward, Councilperson Shelley Butler Barlow, Councilmember Leroy Bennett, Councilmember Roger Fawcett, Councilmember John Rector, and Councilmember Leotis Williams. And of course, we've got City Manager Al Moore, and our Commissioner of Revenue is with us today, Ms. Susan Draper. Thanks for being here. So as we were planning this event today, we were working closely with the Senator's office to put a lot of thought and effort into the location selection. Both the old and the new bridge sites presented challenges that were not conducive to planning an outdoor event. This may have included air conditioning and mayflies. However, we landed here at the Public Works Operations Center because it represents the Suffolk team who will be spearheading this project, the Public Works Department. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that they are here today. Thank you all for being here. So since we are not on site overlooking the beautiful Nansemond River, I thought it would be best suited to make a short video for those in attendance today, a video that truly showcases the Kings Highway Bridge journey, where we were and where we're going. So let's take a look.
While the history of Kings Highway in Suffolk dates back to colonial times, the Kings Highway Bridge between the villages of Chuckatuck and Driver over the Nansemond River was originally built in 1926. In 2005, due to extreme deterioration, the bridge was required to be closed to traffic and was ultimately demolished by the Virginia Department of Transportation in 2007. Suffolk City Council directed staff to research realignment options for a bridge location farther upstream, providing a convenient connection to Route 10. The realignment would meet the transportation needs of the city while improving traffic flow. The recommended option provides a new 4,200-foot bridge with 35-foot clearance. The total estimated 2030 project cost $186,264,000. The new bridge in this option will connect an area off Godwin Boulevard near 5 Mile Road to Kings Highway in Driver. This option will also eliminate the need to upgrade Kings Highway on the northern shore of the Nansemond River. The city has continued to pursue funding over the past decade. Fortunately, this fiscal year, 2024, Virginia's congressional leaders successfully secured $3,040,000 for Suffolk to begin to reconstruct the Kings Highway Bridge. With this funding, further studies will be completed and make way for multiple funding options for the City of Suffolk's reconstruction, including state and federal monies. The 5 Mile Road connection is also the best alternative for future transportation infrastructure planning in Suffolk. This connection will not only keep the traffic level lower in Chuckatuck, but it will also support the Chuckatuck Village plan of a Route 10 Godwin Boulevard bypass. This alternative would provide a more direct route from Route 10 Godwin Boulevard to Interstate 664 through Driver. With sincere gratitude for the funding, the City of Suffolk continues to work together closely with our congressional leadership and the Virginia Department of Transportation to advance this reconnection in one of the city's most vital corridors. Its benefits will nurture both our community and our region's futures.
All right, well, thank you to the City of Suffolk Communications Department for producing that wonderful piece. I'd like to now turn the program over to our partner, the Virginia Department of Transportation Hampton Roads District Engineer, Mr. Chris Hall. You can clap.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's great to be here. Senator Warner, Mayor Duman, and other distinguished guests, it really is an honor to be here today to join you all in celebrating this major milestone for the new Kings Highway Bridge. This award of more than $3 million in congressional directed spending funds is a crucial step forward in our collective effort to rebuild this essential infrastructure. This funding will support critical initial phases of the project, enabling us to move forward with confidence. All the while, VDOT and the city will continue to work together to identify additional funding sources to bring this much anticipated project to fruition. And while there are many, VDOT is constructing more than $4.6 billion in transportation construction underway across Hampton Roads. We are equally proud of the support of our municipal partners administering their local construction projects throughout our locally administered program. The VDOT Hampton Roads District manages the largest locally administered program in the state, encompassing about 35% of the entire state's local program by project. Our district assists and oversees more than 40 active LAP projects totaling $280 million in expanding transportation improvements beyond our VDOT roadways into our partner localities. Among those municipalities we support, Suffolk has been an outstanding partner in this program. The city's leadership in transportation is evident through its exceptional contributions, innovations, and impact to the region. With about $819 million programmed in the 6-year improvement plan, Suffolk manages the second largest program of urban construction in our region, and is definitely one of the region's leaders in this area. We look forward to continuing our partnership to secure additional funding and ensure successful completion of the Kings Highway Bridge, and our ongoing collaboration with the City of Suffolk ensures that we are well positioned to achieve our shared goals and achieve a more connected and safer future for our citizens of Suffolk. Thank you very much. I'll be followed by Mayor Duman.
Thank you, Chris, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today as we mark a meaningful step in a significant infrastructure development in our great city of Suffolk. Today, we gather to express our gratitude and acknowledge the invaluable support we've received from our esteemed leaders, particularly Senator Mark Warner. Beginning in 1928, the Kings Highway Bridge stood as a vital link between the villages of Chuckatuck and Driver, spanning the Nansemond River and facilitating essential connections in our community. However, due to decades of wear and tear, as we watched in the video, the bridge was forced to close in 2005 and later demolished in 2007. Recognizing the value the bridge would provide in connectivity and as an evacuation route, in the years that followed, the City Council explored various options for its reconstruction. The recommended plan outlines a visionary approach, a 4,200-foot long bridge with increased clearance will add considerably to addressing our city's growing transportation needs. This $186,264,000 project, and I meant to check with the city manager, is that number correct? 186 million? Robert, is that number correct, buddy? It's always Robert's fault, whatever it is. Is it 186 million?
As of 3 years ago, it certainly has escalated to.
Well, if anybody chooses to, I kind of use Wikipedia some. I went into Wikipedia, put Kings Highway Bridge. In 2006, I believe it was 43 million. So we've gone from 43 to 186. But obviously, this is a very significant investment in Suffolk's future. Ambitious projects such as this rely on unwavering commitment and collaborative efforts of local, regional, state, and federal partners. Over the past decade, our city has diligently pursued funding opportunities, and I'm pleased to announce that this fiscal year, Virginia's congressional leaders, spearheaded by Senator Mark Warner, have secured over $3 million in federal funding for the Virginia Department of Transportation to initiate the design and engineering of this ambitious, much consequential project. This funding is a testament to the support and vision of Senator Warner and his colleagues in championing our city's infrastructure needs. It paves the way for further studies and lays the groundwork for future state and federal funding to ensure the project's success. The proposed 5-mile road connection emerges as a strategic choice, aligning with our city's long-term transportation goals and supporting the Chuckatuck Village Plan. It promises a direct route from Route 10 Godwin Boulevard to Interstate 664 through Driver, ultimately alleviating traffic and fostering economic growth across Suffolk. On behalf of the City of Suffolk, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to Senator Mark Warner and our congressional leaders for their steadfast support and unwavering advocacy. Together with the Virginia Department of Transportation, we are poised to embark on a transformative project that will not only reconnect our community, but also enrich the future of our region. And speaking of reconnecting our community, I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to thank Senator Mark Warner once again, as well as Senator Tim Kaine, for their recent announcement yesterday. And I hope I don't steal your thunder much here, but I'm sure we'd be glad to hear it again. But I'm not going to miss out on a chance to publicly thank you, Senator Warner, for the $5.3 million of federal funding to support an additional infrastructure improvement for the Seaboard Coastline Trail. These funds will support the engineering, design, right-of-way, and construction of the 2.2 mile Suffolk Seaboard Coastline Trail Segment 3C, which runs from Cedar Lake Shore over the Wilroy flyover to Nansemond High School. Anybody taking a look at the flyover lately? Robert, I don't know what you did. I've never seen a project move that fast. It was like overnight. We're excited to further connect Suffolk residents and visitors who walk, jog, or cycle along this serene and scenic trail through the heart of Suffolk. Without further delay, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming U.S. Senator Mark Warner, whose leadership and commitment have made today's announcement possible. Senator Warner, thank you again for your dedication to our city.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is great to be back in Suffolk. Thank you for identifying that other secret money we were supposed to announce. I had this moment going, oh my heck, did somebody not tell me that? Where's my briefing sheet? Let me also. We're gonna have the money shot in a few minutes. So let's bring the thing up here closer so we can make sure we give it a shot. Not my first rodeo on these things. So I'll make sure we get everybody involved in a second. And Jennifer, I said to the mayor a minute ago, that was a really good video. I've seen a lot of little promotional videos along the way. That was as good as anything I've seen. And let me also just say to the mayor, it's great to be back in Suffolk. We were together a few months ago when we did the some of the dollars for the fire station. I think there's a lot of really good things going on in Suffolk, and I commend all of the community. I want to obviously acknowledge our friends in public safety. Thank you for what you do day in and day out. Chris, in terms of VDOT, I don't know if you know, were you alive in 1991? Well, my first foray into Virginia politics in many ways was getting appointed to the Commonwealth Transportation Board. And still remember like my first meetings on that board, and VDOT would they'd give you so much material. You'd have books like this. I think assuming that none of the CTB board members would ever read all that stuff. But I've had a great working relationship with VDOT over the years, although I will acknowledge when I first became governor, I felt like VDOT had gone a little bit awry and I brought in a new commissioner, and I'll still remember there was a road project that came up, and two of these senior VDOT engineers came in, and the new commissioner at that point was a guy named Phil Shukat, you may remember Phil, and I think he was very proud of him, and I forget which project it was, probably something wrong with 64 as usual. And these guys, senior guys, did this presentation, and I'm not a highway expert, but I'm pretty good at math. And I saw some of their projections didn't add up, and I said, guys, this doesn't make sense. And this was Shuket's, like, one of his first times presenting to me as the new commissioner. And I will say that the previous administration had some reputation for not having their numbers always work. And these two engineers said to me, well, so this doesn't all add up and this doesn't make sense. And they said, well, Governor, that's what we thought you wanted the number to be. I never saw those engineers again. And one of the things that I think we tried to install at that point was kind of on time and on budget. And one of the things, this was all done on a bipartisan basis, I was really proud of. Virginia got named best managed state, best state for business, best state for public education when I was governor. But a lot of that was around trying to make sure large entities like VDOT were responsible in terms of on time and on budget. And one of the things I think we're going to have to grapple with is that, Mike, when you mentioned the fact of how much this bridge cost estimate in 2006 versus today, one of the things I think we're going to have to grapple with in this country is, I'm going to talk about the infrastructure bill in a minute, and I led the effort on something called the CHIPS bill, how we can bring semiconductors back, manufacturing into this country. There's a big federal bill that's law now called the IRA that's driven a lot of cleaner energy investing. And the point of all that being is that, in America, we got to build stuff again. And one of the things where I think we still need improvement is cutting down the regulatory process, trying to do a little bit more reform. There are other nations around the world that can build projects in a faster timeline without sacrificing safety and environment and other things. And that's not so much the challenge at the local level or at the VDOT level. It really is us at the federal level that has got to find a way to do regulatory reform. Because if we could chop a year or two off of these projects, time is money. I'm still been a business guy longer than I've been a politician, and I really think that is an area where we have to do a better job. On the infrastructure bill as well, we know what the money, we've already given away the number amount, so it's not like a big surprise here. So I'm going to filibuster a minute or two more before we do the big reveal. For 35, 40 years, frankly, since about Clinton's time, we were talking about infrastructure in this country. It didn't matter who was president, Democrat or Republican. People talked about it, but we never got anything done. So I was really proud of the fact, that a number of us in the Senate, there were a bipartisan group of us, mostly led by Rob Portman and I, Rob being a Republican senator from Ohio, where we said, it's time for us to stop talking about infrastructure and actually do something. And, where I work, and I say this with respect to law enforcement in the front line, anytime a group of people come together in a bipartisan effort in the Senate, you're immediately called a gang. So I'm working the only place in America being a gang member is a good thing. Matter of fact, I got gang tats up and down my sleeves here. Because anytime there's a bipartisan group of senators that come together, it's called gang of this, gang of that. And we had 10 of us that worked on this infrastructure bill. And it was the most significant infrastructure investment in 40 years. And the good news is, this money I'm going to talk about is part of that, and that we've only spent out about 40 cents on the dollar. And in that now bill, now law, there's $65 billion for broadband, and frankly, Virginia is further ahead than virtually any other state. And if we don't get 98%, 99% of the people in Suffolk covered with high-speed, affordable broadband, and you may already have that with fiber to the home over the next 2 years, it's not lack of money, it will be failure of execution. We have substantial amount of money for in the infrastructure law for airports, water and sewer is something that's not very sexy, but until your toilets don't flush or your water doesn't flow, we've been way behind on that. We've got additional dollars in for rail in virtually every category. And, my view is this is just good business sense. If you defer maintenance, if you defer improvements, that's still part of your debt because it does drive up the costs of when you ultimately make that infrastructure improvement. And Chris, I know we've got when we passed the law, there were, I think, roughly 500 bridges in Virginia that were at one level or another of degradation. Now, they weren't as bad as actually being what happened in Kings Bridge in terms of being torn down, but we had a lot of bridges that were under code, and I think about 2,000 plus miles. Is that right? About 2,000 miles of highway that needed improvement. Is that roughly? So this money is part of that. I do want to acknowledge, this is something that was done in a bipartisan way with Tim Kaine and Jen Kiggins. We work together on this, and for our friends in the press, this money comes from a category that we used to call earmarks. In the more politically correct world, we now call it congressionally designated spending, which is earmarks by just another name. And what it basically is the idea is that up to about 1% of a federal program, the congressional delegation ought to be able to kind of make those priorities. And I think that it's not necessarily jumping line, but it's listening to the local community. And I can assure you, my office hears on a regular basis. Aaron Carter does a great job for me here in Southampton Roads, but we hear on a regular basis about 58, and the whole need to work at the federal level with VDOT and seeing if we can further prioritize more work on 58. And and Jennifer's video did a better job than me of describing how this hooks into the whole network of roads in this region. So I think I've filibustered enough, and I am very proud on behalf of Tim Kaine and Jen Kiggins. Mike, why don't you come up here too, so we can get in the money shot here. Chris, why don't you come up as well, and then we'll bring the other members of the council up. So on behalf of the congressional delegation, it would have been so much better if you hadn't told the number. And maybe I'll come back in a week or two and bring the trail money. These trails are really, really important. I did a trail check yesterday up in Lancaster County. It's changing the whole county. And one of the things about this bridge, as a biker, not motorcycle, but bicycle biker, I know you've got like a 10-foot berm on this, or 15-foot that's going to be for biking, as well as a 5-foot sidewalk. Is that right? I think it was roughly.
Robert?
It's a 10-foot wide multi-use.
So appropriate for biking and walking.
Yes, sir.
In this beautiful part of your city. This bridge has been, taken away. I'm looking for all I can get, Mike. The community's not had this bridge since any passage since 2005. So this is going to be obviously the down payment, and I hope to be back with more. $3 million for the city of Suffolk. Applause line, everyone. Applause. Bring up some of the council members and elected officials to come on. Let's do one more photo.
Anybody have a magic marker? I'm gonna put one in front of it.
Come on in, everybody. Everybody gets.
Then we'll see if we pass.
So if we're up to 286. Is that what the number is now? 286. So we've got a
186.
186. Okay.
She's killing me.
We just saved $100 million just like that.
All about expectations.
This is what happens when actually people in Washington work together as opposed to tear each other down all the time. So we're glad, and hopefully, again, with the money we got for the trails and road. Thank you all very much, everybody. Thank you all for coming.
Last one. Good to see you again. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you so much. Jennifer?
We're going to do a little media gaggle up.
Okay, we'll do a media gaggle in a moment.
All right, so I'll ask our,
Suffolk.
you do have a goodie bag from the city of Suffolk, compliments of our city manager's office. It is our 50th anniversary as the city of Suffolk, so we've got some tchotchkes in
And
there.
most everybody here worked in public works and law and public safety. Thank you all for coming out. Appreciate all the good work you guys do. Because, you know, it's not often recognized because you guys are the folks that actually get the job done. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Senator Warner. So I'd ask our friends, our members of the media, we are doing a quick media gaggle up front. And for our esteemed guests, we do have some refreshments to enjoy before you head back to the office. So thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thanks, everybody.